Let's start in Starkville. When we left you on Friday, Mississippi State was still in the market for an offensive coordinator. As we are with you at 5 o'clock on this Monday afternoon, unless something has changed that I'm not aware of, Brian Hadad, Mississippi State is still in the market for an offensive coordinator.
Still in the market. And I would not expect news on that, to be honest with you, probably until later in the week.
Okay.
Zach Arnett currently at the coaches convention that they have every year around this time. Great chance to network there. My guess is his future offensive coordinator is also at that convention, and they'll speak sometime in the next few days. And then I think once you have that one in place, the rest of the dominoes will fall. Your running backs coach, who if I had to guess, and that's just a guess, Jason Washington will remain on staff here in Starkville. And they got to find a tight ends coach as well. And then, you know, on the defensive line, there's a lot of smoke that David Turner is going to make a return to Starkville. He was at Georgia Tech last season, very familiar with this area, recruited guys like Fletcher Cox, Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons. So he knows what it takes to get it done in Starkville. But the offensive coordinator situation remains up in the air at this point.
We get a message on the C Spire text line asking about the possibility of Kliff Kingsbury as the next offensive coordinator at Mississippi State. He is now available. Seems unlikely.
Better chance that it's you, me, Richard, Michael, anybody else you want to pick, then it's going to be Kliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, and I had a State fan friend ask me about that, and not to insult him, because I know he listens to the show. Sorry, man. You already got my answer earlier, though. If he's only one, then that's great. But do you guys honestly, does anybody honestly think that he's going to go from NFL head coach back down to coordinator level, even if he gets back into the college game, not at an elite program where he can coordinate a championship right away and then get right back to the NFL? I mean, do you think
that would be the plan? Knowing
what you know about Kliff Kingsbury, do you think that he wants to get back to the grindstone and recruit a bunch of 16-year-olds again?
No.
NFL teams are going to be after that guy to be their play caller. Like, I even kind of laugh at he's going to be the next guy at Alabama. I don't think he'll have to go to Alabama. And he doesn't need the coaching rehab like guys like Lane Kiffin have needed. His NFL team just didn't win enough games. There was no scandal or anything, but his offense was in the top 10 in basically every category with a quarterback that was often injured, and you had to put a clause in his contract to force him to study 4 hours of film a week. He's not jumping back in to grind away unless it's in Alabama. And even then, I think, is not going to happen.
I agree.
He's got 4 years left on his Cardinals contract. They're going to write him a check for like $30 million here soon. He's not going to jump right back into the grind of recruiting.
No.
I agree.
There have been a number of you who have pointed out, as I was talking about the back-to-back national champions in college football at Ole Miss in 1959 and 1960. The truth is the NCAA only officially recognizes the 1960 title. The 1959 national championship by Ole Miss was, I don't remember which organization gave them a national title in 1959.
Mad Magazine, I think.
Come on, hey, Dad. Come on, bud. I mean, seriously.
I don't recall either.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I don't know that
Field
it was
and
UPI or AP or whatever it was. It was so anyway. We can dig that out, I suppose. But that is in terms of teams that have been recognized as back-to-back national champions in college football, and there just aren't very many of them. You had Minnesota in 1940 and 1941. Army in 44 and 45, Notre Dame in 46 and 47, Oklahoma in 55 and 56, Nebraska in 94 and 95, Southern Cal in 03 and 04. They were declared co-champions in 03, and their 04 win was later vacated. And then you had Alabama in 11 and 12. So it is not a frequent thing to have back-to-back national champions in college football. Hey, Dave, what about on the transfer portal front for Mississippi State over the course of the weekend? Anything happening there?
Yeah, I picked up a commitment from Christopher Keys, a Mississippi native who left the state in 2020 to go play at Indiana. Defensive back, was a cornerback in high school from Collins, but now a safety. And if it's interesting, State hasn't really slowed down on the portal with the defensive guys because they kind of know everything that's going to be happening there. So you have the continuity, you have the answers there. And they're reloading in the back end of that secondary. They that's where they needed help. You lose Emmanuel Forbes, you lose Jalen Green, you lose Jackie Matthews, you lose Colin Duncan. Got to have some guys back there. So you bring in Kamari Rogers, you bring in Radar Jones, and now you bring in Christopher Keats. All those players, by the way, 3 players from Mississippi who went out of state and returned to Mississippi to play at Mississippi State. I foresee a theme over the next decade of this happening.
Yeah.